Sorry. What? I'm not xenophobic. I'm germophobic. You are a very bad man, Jerry. Hello, I'm Jay Peterman. You're about to witness a tale of romance, revenge, and retired elderly people. Sit back and enjoy. Hello, Jerry. Hello, Newman. It was at this very moment that Newman explained to Jerry that their mail got swapped. Jerry reluctantly accepted the germ-infested mail. Thinking that it was only spam and fan mail, Jerry burned it. It was the only safe way to keep those germs out of his apartment. Little did Jerry know that one of the letters was for jury duty. It wasn't long before Jerry got a fine for his absence, accompanied by a bitter longing for revenge. Newman. $50 for one roll of toilet paper? Now, Newman, be reasonable. I don't have that kind of money. Sorry, Kramer, unless you want the going rate. All right, fine, because I can't go back to wiping my bottom with magazines. Excellent. Yes, excellent. You should get that checked out. Don't tell anyone, Kramer, but I have the coronavirus. Mama. Slowly, one by one, nearly everyone in Jerry's apartment got the coronavirus. Hey, Jerry, you got any orange juice? Kramer, get out of my fridge! You have the coronavirus, don't you? No, I don't. My apartment isn't safe anymore! For the first time in Jerry's life, his paranoid, germophobic fears were finally rational. Jerry realized it was time to move out. Meanwhile, Elaine was taking the subway to work. Big mistake. Suddenly, Elaine noticed a man who wasn't covering his cough. Elaine chastised the man for his insensitivity and pleaded with the crowd that the man be thrown from the train. Unfortunately, no one believed poor Elaine, and an officer promptly escorted her from the train. Meanwhile, George waited on his parents hand and foot, who, after only having a runny nose, falsely believed that they both had the coronavirus. George wished he could go back to his quarantine relaxation nest, so he insisted that they prove they had the virus by simply getting tested at the hospital. George, your mother and I think it best that you continue to look after us, because the hospital is a coronavirus minefield! George suddenly realized that maybe, just maybe, he could bring the test to them. George, why you got that weird look in your eye? Georgie, stop staring and give us our sponge bath. Elaine was surrounded by a throng of homeless men who all had the coronavirus. Elaine had no idea where she was, and worse yet, each of the vagabonds were vying for her attention. Suddenly, it was Elaine's ex-boyfriend, Rusty. After getting laid off during the coronavirus, he became homeless. To Elaine's relief, he offered to take her somewhere she could hail a taxi. But in exchange, she would have to go on a date with him. Elaine begrudgingly accepted.
I thought you said you knew how to prevent Newman's engine from starting, you grease monkey! Well, no need to name call, Jerry. The politically correct term is mechanic. You got the autographed devil's cards? Of course I do! All right. Then anything for you, Jerry. Excellent! Yes, excellent!
Finally, Rusty had taken Elaine to the street of safety. However, since he'd been there last, it had become a meeting ground for people of an opposing homeless gang. All of these men were instantly infatuated with Elaine as well. Out of the blue, Rusty heard the familiar sound of a mail van starting its engine. Newman was the one who had laid Rusty off from his envelope sniffing job in the first place. Rusty had a score to settle. Rusty said he would hold Elaine to keeping her end of the deal, because he kept his. To Elaine, regrettably, a deal was a deal. Meanwhile, for the hobos, it was their chance to win Elaine's affection.
Can you spare me a tissue?
Can you spare me a tissue?
If Elaine's tissue were a flower, it was like a rose ceremony on a bachelorette. With the coronavirus all around her, despair filled her heart. Until she saw the same officer from earlier. Yet Elaine's attempts for help were met with callous disregard. But then, just before the cop was out of earshot, Elaine called him a pig. Elaine was arrested and taken out of harm's way for now. Little did she know that she would be locked in a cell with someone who had the coronavirus. Kramer had a friend who was giving out coronavirus tests on the black market. George quite craftily convinced his parents to take the test. To his delight, they tested negative, which meant he could go home and practice his passion of social distancing. Unfortunately, the needles used in the test ended up giving his parents the coronavirus after all. However, Jerry reminded George of how old his parents were and the mortality rate. And thinking of his future inheritance and freedom from labor, only a foul creature like George Costanza could have grinned at the thought.
All the apartments in the city have put a ban on the people of my apartment from taking up residence abroad. Believe me, I'm clean. I have documentation. I want to live here.
That voice, it sounds familiar. You!
Mama.
It's good to see you again. Did you know that this video was made entirely by one guy? Introducing the guy above me, Auburn Specker of Death by Squirrel Productions. If you'd like to see more videos like this, did you know that there's something you can do about that?
No way. What do they have to do? Subscribe! They have to subscribe! It's super easy! Point, click, boom!
And it's free.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe.
And don't forget to leave a comment about what you think the next video should be about. Well, enough from me. I'm moving back to Burma. So long.